Coming up, Alexis talks about movies, Chloe demands people to be judgmental, Destiny gives you some activities at 10 during spring break, and I wrap it up with even more games to play with your friends. Welcome to the Lakefront Entertainment. Hi, welcome to the Lakefront Entertainment. The little TV you saw in the intro has a name now. His name is Telly, and he's all decked out in green for our St. Patrick's Day video. Speaking of which, I got dressed up in green today too. Happy St. Patrick's Day! Why didn't no one tell me? Okay. Alright, we'll head over to Destiny while I go change. He's gonna hook us up with the TGOA, SAT, APFA, OLLU, the things going on around San Antonio that are pretty fun and entertaining for our Lady Lake students. Why did no one tell me? No one told me.
Thanks, JC. Welcome to things going on around San Antonio. All right, let's go. First up on my list is the 59th Annual San Antonio Folk Dance Festival. This is an event that is held on campus from March 17th to March 19th. There will be dance workshops, cultural events, and parties at the International Folk Culture Center, or IFCC for those of you who know it exclusively by its acronym. Then, on Saturday, the SAFDF concert will be held in Theory Auditorium, where you'll be treated to beautiful costumes, music, and talented local performance groups, perhaps the occasional special guest. On Sunday, you can enjoy great food at the Henry Lash Bash. If you're interested in anything about this wonderful weekend, you can look at this full schedule and pricing, as well as registering for the event online at safdf.org. Nothing to do for St. Patrick's Day? Not a problem. Head down to the Riverwalk for the Murphy's St. Patrick's Day River Parade Festival on March 17th. The San Antonio River will be transformed into the River Shannon at 1 p.m. and then entertainers will take the stage. Things will continue with the re-dyeing of the river the next day. This will be the most eventful day with entertainment starting at noon, with performers such as Kelly Singers, Celtic Comfort, and the Innisfree Irish Dancers. With entertainers changing every hour, you can just find a seat and enjoy the show. The River Parade starts at 4 with lots of decorated barges filled with bagpipes and drummers. It's sure to be an exciting affair. And if you're 21 and up, stop by the Arneson River Theater for some delicious Irish food and exciting beverages. Looking for that last spring break hurrah before heading back to the lake? On March 19th at the brewery, the Alamo Food Fight Spring Equinox kicks off at noon. There will be food trucks from all over the San Antonio area. With the purchase of a $20 ticket, you get a sample from each truck with their full menus available. This is a fantastic deal. Bring your friends and vote for your favorite truck. The truck with the most votes will be declared the winner, and with a stellar prize at stake, it's sure to be an interesting battle. It's a rain or shine event, and tickets are available for purchase at eventbrite.com. I know I'll be making my way to the brewery for this one. Well, that's all I have for you guys this week. Back to you, JC.
Thanks, Destiny. I've never seen the Riverwalk turn green before, so I definitely want to check it out. Why did you throw a book at me? Oh, wait, I know what that means. It means it's time for some literature!
Hello and welcome to Literature, where we turn up the literature. It's a safe bet to assume that everyone has heard at least once to not judge a book by its cover. But honestly, who listens to that anyway? As an avid reader, we all have once picked out a book because it's just so beautiful you had to have it on your shelf. There have been some of these cases where this has been one of my favorite novels, and other cases where I've hated the book entirely. This book is Female of the Species. It's one of the books that I picked out because of its peculiar cover. And this last week, I went around and asked other people to judge this book by its cover, and asked them what they thought this book would be about.
I think this book is just about women, women's rights, women's just everything. This is all Beyonce all up in here.
I think it's about like how all of these like the male and female of these species, and like how like society thinks that a male is the dominant one, but and like how like they differ and how the females might be stronger or the male might be stronger for some species and not for all of them.
I would say empowerment, feminism, maybe some facts about women and their history and liberation that we may not know about.
How females the roles females play in different species across the spectrum, I guess. Hunters, mothers.
Mostly animals, but then it deals with the woman. And it looks like an interesting book to read. I see it has a picture of a fox, cows, animals, mostly queens, seals, a dog. And it looked like it can be like a female, a species that tells that all these animals are made of females instead of males.
I think it's about female empowerment, frankly, because it says the female of species, and a lot of times in society, I mean, our society is a male-driven kind of world. And so this book says the female species, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's empowering young girls to also be like, hey, you can do whatever you want too.
I think this book is a taxonomy of female species of animals as they relate to women. That seems to be what it looks like to me. But Nana says it's a novel, so maybe it's just funny.
Wow! There are quite a few different responses to what people thought the story might be about. But do I sense an overall aligning theme? So let's take 5 seconds and you think about what you believe this book is about. It's okay. I'll wait. This book is about Alex Kraft, whose sister was killed about 3 years ago, and how the killer just walks away free. She struggles with what it means to be a girl in society. As her senior year rolls around and the circumstances change, she befriends Jack and PK. Yes, a kid named PK. As senior year progresses, they start to realize the devaluing nature of being a girl. Now, in the comments below, tell me what you thought this book was going to be about. Or tell me a book that you bought just because of the cover. And that's all I've got booked. Back at you, JC.
Thanks, Chloe. That was really cool. Glad to see all of OLLU getting involved. If you see any of us around filming random people, stop and say hi. We'd be happy to show you on the lake for entertainment. We just noticed that there's a bunch of spinny chairs in here, and so after a short break, we'll head over to Alexis as she talks to us about the world of cinema.
Vista wants you. Your future belongs to you. Make your education yours too.
Thanks, JC. Salutations, I'm Alexis and I'm combat ready. If you happen to miss the Oscars but do like to look at memes on social media, then you'll know what I'm going to talk about. After 89 years, we thought the memes finally ended with Leo getting his Oscar, but alas, nothing is safe on the internet. There's a huge mix-up in the Oscars for Best Pictures, and it was given to La La Land, except they didn't really win. Moonlight did. So how did the mix-up happen? The envelopes were switched when the winners were getting announced. La La Land actually won for Best Actress, which went to Emma Stone, but the mix-up caused an awkward moment on stage as the crew for La La Land went up on stage and gave their acceptance speech, only to be cut off and told that Moonlight was the winner, and as usual, the internet created memes in a matter of seconds. Moving on to our next topic of the day, we're going to talk about some of the new Netflix originals uploaded and... oh, what? What do you mean? Oh, I'm sorry. We're actually going to start with movies. I won't talk too much about Logan since we covered it last time, but I am pumped to go see it. So far the ratings are great and only getting better. Anyone else going to see it? You? Yeah? Yes? If you haven't seen the trailer yet for Before I Fall, don't worry, it's probably going to pop up as an unskippable ad on YouTube every time you try to watch something interesting. In this movie, which currently has a 3.5 rating on Metacritic, Samantha Kingston is forced to live out the exact same day over again. So basically what we do in college, except her day ends with her dying. And not on the inside. Sam tries to change different things that happen throughout the day in order to change her fate, but fails in her attempts. Wow, that sounds like such an original idea. Groundhog's Day. This movie can end one of two ways, with Samantha dying or somehow finding a way to live in the last 30 minutes, as one tends to do in a PG-13 movie. If I seem salty, watch the trailer and you may or may not agree with me. Now moving on to Netflix. If you like anime and watch a lot of Netflix, then why not try watching The 7 Deadly Sins? The storyline follows Elizabeth as she searches the world to find the 7 outcasted knights known as the 7 Deadly Sins after they are disbanded for murder in order to save her family and the kingdom. The next installment is a 4-part original video animation that can't even be considered a second season due to lack of episodes. If you've seen season 1 and just had to know how things were going to get resolved, like me, then have no fear. Season 2 cleans up the questions you might have had after season 1 ended. If you're new to the fandom, here's a little piece of advice. Once the end credits go up, don't skip to the next episode right away because the Sins tend to pull a Marvel and have credits important to the storyline at the end. Season 2's end credit scenes are a completely different storyline to the main one in all 4 episodes, so skip at your own risk. That's all I have for you today. See you next time. JC, take it away.
Thanks, Alexis. It's always good to know what's new on Netflix. God knows I already watched too much of it. Anyways, time to talk about some games to play with your friends. Just because a game is easy doesn't mean that it has to sacrifice depth. If you've never heard of it, Epic Spell Wars of the Battle Wizards is an amazing board game series to play with up to 6 people. Players each draw and place down up to 3 cards, with each card combining to form the ultimate spell. After you said your spell in the best wizard voice you can muster, you follow along and calculate damage, heal yourself, draw extra cards, and so on. Each card is completely unique, so no 2 spells are quite the same. Both Epic Spell Wars games are only around $20 each, so even on our college budget, affording these games isn't going to break the bank. You can get Epic Spell Wars of the Battle Wizards Duel at Mount Skullsfire and the second one, Rumble at Castle Tentakill, online or in stores today. You know, sometimes we're not looking for a deep game though. We're just looking for a quick game to play with our friends during community hour or even over some succulent cafeteria food. If that sounds like something you'd enjoy, you should check out Exploding Kittens. In this silly card game, players each take turns playing all the cards they want, then drawing a card to end their turn. The trick of the game is to not draw an exploding kitten. If you draw one, you've been blown up by a tiny cat and are out of the game. Fortunately, everyone starts with one diffuse card that lets you nullify an exploding kitten and place it back in the deck wherever you want. As the deck gets smaller and smaller, your imminent death by cute explosion becomes closer and closer until one non-exploded human remains. This game has been out for a while, so you may have already heard of it, but what you probably haven't heard of is about the expansion this game got. With cards once again drawn by the online comic artist The Oatmeal, we're graced with the first expansion to Exploding Kittens. This is the first expansion to Exploding Kittens. I'm not repeating myself, that's the actual title that they gave it. Anyways, the new 20 cards that are added give new ways to play, such as drawing a card from the bottom, a card that lets you rearrange the top 3 cards of the deck, and a classic reverse card, which works just like it did in Uno, except this time instead of potentially getting hit with that wild draw 4, you could blow up if it's used against your favor. My absolute favorite part of this expansion is the Cone of Shame turn indicator. The first person to draw an exploding kitten or imploding kitten has to wear this Cone of Shame to indicate the turn order. And yes, you do have to wear it, and yes, you do have to take pictures and laugh. If you do, you can tweet them out to the creators of this game using their handle @GameOfKittens. Exploding Kittens is a great time for everyone and takes like 2 minutes to learn how to play. You can get both card games along with the expansion for like $30 on Amazon, so definitely go check it out. Last on our board game list is the game called Clank. In this game, you play as an explorer diving deep into a treasure-filled dungeon. You do this by drawing cards from a deck that you get to build yourself. As you go through the game, you can purchase stronger cards to aid you on your adventuring, whether it be cards to get you more treasure, move faster, or even draw extra cards. As you move, you have to watch out for when you use more powerful cards. As the game implies, you're not the quietest of adventurers and you tend to make a lot of noise while you're down in the dungeon. When certain cards show up, the dragon attacks, and the more noise you've made, the more likely you are to take damage. Take too much damage and you'll wind up filling the dragon's belly. Make it out of the dungeon and back up to the surface and you'll start the end of the game, where people have 3 turns to get out or be locked in the dungeon forever. There's a ton of strategy to this game. Do you head down deep to the dungeon, risking life and limb to get the most expensive artifacts, or do you just dash in, grab whatever's within reach, and then jump right out and try to end the game early, sealing all the adventures that are still in the dungeon inside? What cards do you try to grab to help your strategy? Do you grab other cards to block an opponent? It's all up to you. Every strategy you can think of works as long as you're smart and quick on your feet. And while this game is super fun once you get the hang of it, I'd recommend playing with someone who has a good grasp on the rules before playing it on your own. You'll want a couple practice rounds to ensure everybody gets how to play. Clank has a ton of replay value, and at $70, I honestly think that it's well worth the price tag, given how many different ways you can play. You can get Clank online or in stores now. Well, that about does it for the Lakefront Entertainment for this week. Go ahead and let us know what you thought through our social media pages, and be sure to stop and say hi whenever you see us around campus and let us know how we did. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be sure to see you again next time. Take care, and have a happy St. Patrick's Day.